if I want to solve this, what you do is you are going to get rid of a square root. You're going to square both sides. But actually, before I do that, if you have the square root of something, could you ever get a negative 5 out? No. So right off the bat, this is not possible. No solution. But let me show you how you would solve it normally, just in case. You would square both sides, because sometimes you have to solve these and it works. So let's square both sides. Negative 5 squared is 25. Then I add the 3 over. So x equals 28. Now, but you have to learn to check. So I'm going to put 28 right there. When I put 28 in this thing, I get 28 minus 3. Again, I put 28 for x. What's 28 minus 3? That's 25. Does the square root of 25 equal negative 5?
No.
No, that does not work. So guess what? This is not my answer. My answer does not work. It's called extraneous. There is no solution to this. There is no solution because what should have been the solution actually doesn't work. Now, right at the beginning, you could have noticed it because of negative. But here's where you have to be careful. What if there was a cube root right here? If there was a cube root, this is possible. A square root is not. So you have to be very careful. It's well worth your time to solve it and check just to make sure instead of just jumping to the answer unless you're 100% sure you know how to do it. In order to solve this equation, it has fractional powers, which fractional powers are radicals. I'm going to solve this. So the first step is to get rid of that 9 to solve this. To get rid of that 9, I have to, well, it's connected by multiplied, so I divide it off. Okay, so the first step will be dividing off the 9. I now have x minus 2 to the 2/3 equals 4. Again, whenever solving, you have to get the fractional power or the radical isolated like this. So you get rid of anything that's outside first. Next, I have to get rid of the fractional power, and what we've talked about is we need to take it to a power that is reciprocal of that. That 2/3, the reciprocal of 2/3 is 3 over 2. The reason for the reciprocal is when you multiply these, don't you get 1?
Yes.
So my 3 over 2 has to go over here too. This becomes a 1 power, and so a 1 power leaves this as x minus 2. Now here's the problem. You have still 3 over 2 with a 4 here. Now I need to break this down right here. I need to find the value of this. So 4, I want something squared that gives you 4. See the denominator there? It's a 2. So what, I want a squared here. So what squared will give you 4?
2.
Hopefully you can see that's 2. Don't the 2's cancel now?
Yes.
I now have still x minus 2 over here. And I have 2 to the 3rd power left over. Now, that's x minus 2, and 2 to the 3rd is 8. Now I add 2 over, and I get x equals 10. Now I have to double check if that actually works. So we make sure we check before I kind of claim that answer. Now be careful. This right here is a little tricky for people to break that down and get that 8. Okay, anyways, let's put 10 right here. So I have 9 to the 2/3 equals 36. And I'm plugging 10 in for x. Well, what's that right there? Isn't that 8? I'm checking my work. Okay, now, don't I want 8 here to be something to a 3rd power? So I need that to be a 3rd power here. So what to the 3rd power gives you 8?
2.
2. Won't the 3's cancel? Isn't this 9 times 4 equals 36? Does that look right? Yes. That works, so that is my answer. Now, if this was not true, we'd cross that answer out and say no solution. Make sure you check your answer. And make sure before you power both sides to move off anything that's on the outside of it.